Namaste, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. For this practice, you'll want to have 2 blocks and a strap. Let's begin in any comfortable seated position. You might even like to sit up on your props to allow your legs to splay open more easily, and so you can drop the knees more comfortably if you're sitting cross-legged. So here's a little more roomy poetry for you. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. I love what Judith Lassiter, senior yoga teacher, posted today on the meaning of Santosha, which is one of the practices of the second limb of yoga, the niyamas. And often Santosha is defined as contentment. She defined it as the fierce ability to be with what is. The fierce ability to be with what is. In your practice of yoga today, rather than perceiving it maybe as an escape from daily life, how might you use your practice and all that arises within it as a tool for staying, for being here, for encountering the present moment with courage, with openness, and with self-compassion, as we've been talking about since yesterday's practice and the classes before that on equanimity. Let's begin. Sitting still, begin to observe your physical body, acknowledging its aliveness through all kinds of sensations. Feel into the breath just as it is. And notice your energy right now. And observing your mind, noticing any tendencies such as what you're focusing on or the quality of your focus in this moment. And sense the energy of your heart. Observe any emotions present. Leaning into what is with a caring curiosity. Let the breath deepen, breathing in through the nose and out through the lips. Slowing it down a little bit more. In this present moment, what can you find appreciation for? And through that awakened heart energy of gratitude, clarify your intention for this practice. What are you inviting in to your experience? And through what lens would you like to approach your practice? And then I invite you to choose someone to dedicate your practice to, making an offering of your efforts here. And together, let's create resonance as we share the space, chanting Om 3 times. Closing the lips, let's begin practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing, a way to empower ourselves with the skills to be present, even when the moment feels uncomfortable or challenging. This breathing technique enables you to calm your nervous system and be present, focus the mind. So it's done by closing the lips, softly narrowing the back of your throat, and creating a very soft, smooth whispering sound as you breathe in and out slowly and evenly through the nose. See if you can keep the same softly audible rhythm that you can hear through much of our physical practice, especially the Vinyasa flow. So as you listen to that, let's make our way into downward facing dog. Setting your hands flat at the top of your mat and lifting your hips high and back. Allow a few moments to slowly pedal your feet in place. In our practice today and throughout this week, we are focusing on forward folds, which entails flexion at the hips, lengthening the back body, including the spine, the lower back. Might feel it in the glutes and the hamstrings and calves. Downward facing dog is a forward fold as well. And one of the benefits of the forward folds is to cool the body, especially in this hot summer weather in Los Angeles. It also invites introspection as you're literally bowing into yourself, bringing your attention towards your center. Now let the movement dissolve, holding stillness as you observe body, mind, breath. Let your gaze steady on one point for about 3 more deep breaths here in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you, squaring the hips, turn the right hip down. Exhale, softly step the foot forward beside your right thumb and lower your left knee to the ground. Untuck the back toes and press your hands into the top of your right thigh, making sure your legs are hips width apart and you're lifting your frontal hip bones slightly, directing your tailbone down and slightly forward, while turning both frontal hip bones to face forward. Lengthen the lower back here by lifting the back ribs and then draw your shoulder heads back, softening them down as you lift up through the back of your skull. Without moving your legs, activate the energy as if you're dragging your legs towards each other. About 3 more breaths here in this version of a kneeling lunge, Anjaneyasana. Set your hands down. Let's step back, downward facing dog. Empty this breath. Keep your hips squared or leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, softly step the foot forward beside your left thumb and lower your right knee. Inhale, rising up. Press your hands down into the very top of your left thigh while you lift your frontal hip bones. Direct your tailbone down and slightly forward towards your inner left heel as you isometrically drag your legs towards each other. No visible movement, just the energy of it. Lift your back ribs, draw your shoulders back, and then soften them down as you lift up through the back of your skull. Steady your gaze. 3 more breaths. This time, plant your fingertips at the top of your mat and step forward to fold. Press your hands on your shins, blocks in front of your feet, or the ground. Inhale, lengthen forward to half forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold again, Uttanasana. 2 more times. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. As you reach the crown of your head forward, firming in the belly, draw the shoulders back. Keep shifting your weight forward and then bow from the hips, Uttanasana. 1 more. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Broaden the chest, draw the navel towards the spine, firm the fronts of the thighs. Exhale, Uttanasana. Press down through the feet. Inhale, sweep your arms towards the sky as you rise into a gentle standing back bend, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your palms together from your crown to your heart center. With your intention in mind, bring gratitude to the heart, offering appreciation for the sun. Sun salutation A. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, bow over your legs. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Pause here for a few breaths. Lifting through the sides of your belly, legs straight or knees on the ground, right under the hips. Look at the floor just ahead of your thumbs and rotate your outer upper arms slightly towards the back wall. With an exhale, glide forward as far as you can. Bend your elbows back so they hug your side ribs. Lower halfway to Chaturanga Dandasana. Then lower all the way down. Press the tops of your feet firmly into the earth. And inhale, draw your shoulder heads back into Cobra Pose. Tuck your toes from the belly in and exhale, press up, lifting your hips to downward facing dog. Let your body be still as you steady your gaze, tuning into 3 slow breaths. When you've emptied the third, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Press your hands down. Inhale, half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Rooting down, inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands at your heart in Padasana. Now let's take that into a continuous flow. Surya Namaskar A, 2 rounds. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Press the hands down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to your version of plank and continue as you exhale, gliding forward and lowering through Chaturanga. Lower all the way again or flip the toes halfway down in upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Cultivate stillness and awareness. What's coming up here right now? 3 breaths. When you've emptied the third, walk or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Padasana. Once more, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank and lower, or lightly jump to Chaturanga Dandasana. Continue through your Vinyasa. Pause in downward dog for 3 deep breaths. Now right here, we're going to prepare for the next sun salutation. So keep your hips leveled and inhale, raise your right leg again behind you. And as you exhale, step the foot lightly beside your right thumb and spin your left heel down. Pause here. See that your feet are about hips width apart and feel that your 2 frontal hip bones are facing forward. Press down through your feet and activate your belly. Inhale, rise up to stand in Warrior One. Let's pause for a few breaths. As you're bending your right knee directly above your right heel, draw your right outer hip slightly back. As you're straightening your left leg, press your left outer heel into the floor and rotate your left outer hip slightly forward. Lift your frontal hip bones, lengthen through the spine, relax the shoulders. Another 3 deep breaths in Virabhadrasana 1. On your next exhale, lower from plank and take a vinyasa. From downward facing dog, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, gently step the foot beside your left thumb. Spin your right heel down. See that your feet are hips width apart. Feel that both hips are facing forward. Activate your belly and legs and inhale, rise. Virabhadrasana 1. Bend your left knee right on top of your left ankle and draw your left thigh bone back deeper into the hip socket. Straighten your right leg and press your right outer heel firmly into the floor while rotating your right outer hip slightly to face forward. Then slightly lift the frontal hip bones, lengthen up and down the spine, relax the shoulders. 3 more deep breaths. On your next exhalation, lower all the way down into your vinyasa or a few rounds of cat-cow. You need to conserve your energy. Making sure you listen to your body and adjust your physical practice in alignment with its needs. 1 more deep breath in downward facing dog. Then walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands in prayer at your heart. Let's prepare for sun salutation B, a continuous flow, 2 rounds. So let your feet come together to touch. Listen to the breath. Let's move to that pace. Inhale, bend your knees together to touch. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, shift forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank or float to Chaturanga. Take it to your vinyasa. When you arrive at downward facing dog, inhale, raise your right leg, keep your hips leveled. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb, spin the left heel down. Inhale, rise to Warrior One. Exhale all the way down, Vinyasa. From downward facing, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale the foot beside your left thumb, drop the right heel. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower, Vinyasa. Arriving in downward dog, pause for 3 breaths, slowing down your breathing and paying attention to what you're feeling in this moment, physically, mentally, energetically, being with what is. When you're ready, empty the breath, then walk or jump lightly to the front of your mat. With feet touching, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhvas. Actually, chair pose, almost forgot. Utkatasana. And then exhale, rise up. One more time, inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float back, take it through your Vinyasa. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, Vinyasa. Keep going to the second side. Follow the sound of your breath. Downward facing, 3 deep breaths, slowing it down and observing what's here now. Empty the breath. I'll meet you at the top of the mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale to rise up. Let's set the feet apart here, hips distance, parallel, and bring your hands behind your back to clasp or hold a strap between the hands, whichever allows you to be able to lift the hands at least a foot or so away from your lower back so we can open up the fronts of the shoulders. Breathe in, roll your shoulders down, lift your chest up. Breathe out, bend your knees generously, tilt your weight forward and bow from your hips. Cultivate the feeling of a flat back. Relax the neck, lift the shoulders away from it, and continue stretching your arms forward, away from the lower back. Let's bring a little more lengthening into the backs of the legs, such as the hamstrings. So straighten your right leg, lean your torso to the outside of it, and bend your left knee a little more. Relax your jaw, soften the back of your neck. One more deep breath. Now let's switch sides. Bend the right knee generously, straighten your left leg, and lean your torso to the outside of your left leg. Maybe switch the cross of your thumb and index finger on top. Keep lifting the shoulders, dropping your skull, and stretching the arms forward. Deep breath. Sense your energy level right now. As you harmonize with that, choose what makes most sense. Take another vinyasa, a few cat-cows, or step directly into downward facing dog. We'll meet there. At downward facing dog, once again, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb and come up high on the ball of your left foot. Keep your feet hips width apart and inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. Direct your tailbone down, slightly lift your frontal hip bones, and tune into about 4 more deep breaths. Spin your left heel down and align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Open up the arms and straighten your legs for triangle pose. Glide your hips towards the back wall And lengthen your torso towards the front, lowering your right fingertips gently on your right leg, or just to the right side of that shin on a block of the floor as you spin your chest slightly to face the sky. Draw your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Tack the crease of your right hip back towards your left outer heel. Trikonasana, about 4 more deep breaths. Ardha Chandrasana, look at the ground ahead and walk your right hand forward and to the right of your right pinky toe. Drag your left foot forward and flex it off the ground, recreating the shape of triangle pose. Tune into the sound of your breathing. Gently step into Warrior Two. Bend the right knee, open the arms, 1 breath in. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. Pause for 1 deep breath. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, step the foot beside your left thumb. Stay high on the ball of your right foot. And inhale, rise up right away, arriving in stillness. Steady gaze, crescent lunge. Lift your frontal hip bones. Direct your tailbone down and lift up through the back of your skull. Spin your right heel down, align left heel to arch of right foot, and open your arms, straighten your legs for triangle. Glide your hips towards the rear wall. Lengthen your torso towards the front. Place your left fingertips lightly on your left leg or just to the left side of it on a block of the ground. Spin your chest slightly to face the sky. Draw the shoulders down your back. Landing your gaze, another 4 deep breaths in Trikonasana. Gaze down ahead of your left foot for Ardha Chandrasana. Place your left hand forward and to the left of your left foot on a block of the ground and flex your right foot off the earth. Expanding your legs, arms, and spine. Steady your gaze again, 4 more breaths. Take your time stepping down into Virabhadrasana 2. Pause for a deep breath in. This time step forward, top of your mat. Let your feet come together. Let's prepare for a spinal twist in twisting chair pose. So with your feet touching, connect with your breath. Bend your knees together to touch. Inhale, Utkatasana. Keep your legs and hips still and exhale, rotate your ribcage to the right. Parita Utkatasana. Tune into about 4 more breaths as you tack your left hip towards the rear wall. Spin your left ribs towards your right wall and draw your shoulders down your back. Try to keep your heart higher than your hips. See if you can lower your hips a bit more. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, Padasana. Pause, allow a full cleansing breath. Side 2. Bend your knees together. Inhale, Utkatasana. Join your hands and twist to the left. Exhale, Parita Utkatasana. 4 more breaths. Sink the hips a little lower. Inhale through center chair pose. Exhale, rise up to stand. Cleansing breath in, magic breathing into your whole body. Open the mouth, any sound, let it out. Please take your 2 blocks and let's turn to face the wide width of your mat, stepping your feet wide apart and parallel to each other. Place the blocks on the ground in front of you and bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, roll your shoulders back and lift your heart. Hinge forward from your hips slowly as you shift your weight forward, align your pelvis with your ankles, and try to cultivate again the feeling of a flat back, not a rounded shoulders or rounded spine. If that starts to happen, bend your knees as much as you need so it doesn't happen. Place your hands either on your blocks or the floor. Press down and inhale, lift your chest. Press your heart through the gates of your arms. Exhale, if possible, continue to walk your hands back deeper into your wide-legged forward fold. Some of you might clasp your big toes in Parangushtasana, lifting the shoulders, dropping the head. Some of you might walk the hands back far enough to bend the elbows directly on top of the wrists, keeping the arms parallel to each other like Chaturanga Dandasana. And then bringing the top of the head to the floor. If you're free of neck issues, you might make your way into tripod headstand. We're here for about 5 deep breaths. Either way, you're upside down, forward fold or headstand in an inversion. If you're in headstand, remember to use your hands to press the ground away so that you lift the shoulders and create space in your neck. And when your feet are on the ground, if they were lifted, crawl your hands forward and take your blocks with you. Pivot to face the rear of your mat into a high lunge. Lower your back knee and let's prepare for single pigeon pose. Slide your right ankle towards your left hip, dropping your right thigh open to the right. Lower to sit and tuck the left toes, and then square your hips to evenly face forward. Draw the right hip back, rotate the left outer hip forward. You might place a block under the right glute if that helps to keep them squared. And then take your choice of either bowing forward, threading the needle of left arm under right elbow, lowering the left side of the head to the floor, or king pigeon, where you backstroke the left arm and catch the left shin or foot, whether you clasp the hands like mermaid or hold on to your left toes into the back bend. So whatever you're choosing, we're here for about 4 more deep breaths. Now, gently lift your torso if you're bowing forward. Take the blocks in your hands and walk them towards your hips. Rise into a kneeling lunge again. And keep your left hip above your left knee. Let's prepare for half or moving towards full split, Hanumanasana. Lift the ball of your right foot flexed. Plug your right thigh back deeper into the hip socket. Straightening the right leg to your capacity in which you can lengthen your spine and slightly lift your chest. Keep the throat open, firm in the belly, and to whatever's available here, bow forward. Or tuck your left toes to help keep your hips evenly squared forward and begin to slide your right heel forward towards Hanumanasana. You could use a block under your right hamstring to free up your hands and use your hands to help square your hips, or reach the arms overhead and interlace the fingers except the index into Victory Mudra. About 4 more deep breaths. You could also choose to fold forward in Hanumanasana. Now be mindful and notice your breathing as you transition out. Place your hands on your blocks next to your hips. Drag your right heel towards you if it's slid away. Come into a high lunge, tuck the back toes. Take the blocks with you to the left side of your mat. Return to the wide-legged forward fold you started in. From there, pivot to face the opposite short edge of the mat. Come into a high lunge. Your left foot in front of you in your high lunge. Lower your back knee and slide your left ankle towards your right hip. Splay your left thigh to the floor, over to the left, and lower to sit. Take a moment to square your hips forward. Maybe place a block under the left glute if that helps. And then invite you into the same version of the pose you practiced on the first side while you practice honoring the depth that's available here. You might bow forward. You might thread the right arm under the left, bent elbow and lower the right side of your head. You might bend the right knee and come into some version of king pigeon pose, maybe holding the right toes with both hands. About 4 more breaths where you are. Now gently lifting your torso if you're bowing, take the blocks in each hand and bring them close to your hips. Rise into a kneeling lunge again, right knee on the floor, left foot in front. Half or moving towards full split. Lift the ball of your left foot flexed. Draw the thigh bone deeper into the hip socket to straighten the leg. Elongate your spine with a slight lift in your chest and bow slowly from the hips, engaging your belly. Maybe you tuck your right toes. Slide the left heel slowly forward. Keep squaring the hips. You could use a block under your right hamstring to free up your hands. Maybe bow forward. About 4 more breaths where you are. Take your time. Notice the sensations in your body as you begin to rise. This time, dragging the left foot towards you, step back into downward facing dog. Pause for a few breaths. And slowly come forward and lower onto your knees. Let's prepare for 2 rounds of camel pose as we finish off our active back bends. So standing on your knees, tuck your toes behind you. For the first round, I invite you to hug the narrow width of a block between knees and thighs to help hug the hips towards the lower spine and support it. Backstroke your arms, place your hands on your lower back, fingertips pointing down, and spiral your inner thighs slightly behind you towards your back wall as you actively lengthen your tailbone downward towards the ground between your knees. Lift your back ribs and hug your elbows close together. Breathe in, lift your chest, and draw your shoulders back. Right under your shoulder blades, bend the back to tilt the chest up. Stay for your count of 5 breaths or more, and then place your hands on your lower back to help you rise and sit. So if it's available, while keeping the pelvis directly above the knees, you might lower one hand to hold the heel beneath it, and then switch heels, switch hands, or hold both. Deep breaths here. Ustrasana, camel pose. When you've decided, you might use the block to sit on like a stool between your ankles. Rest for 3 breaths. Tune in. This is quite a contrast to our forward folds. In fact, this is a counterbalancing posture. Last round of camel. Give it another 5 to 10 deep breaths on your own. With a block or without a block, just keep the knees, hips width apart, toes tucked, or flatten the tops of the feet down. Remember to keep your hips forward. Focus on bending right under the shoulder blades. Deep breaths. When you've rested for 3 breaths, have a seat with your legs in front of you, and let's prepare for a spinal twist. Extend your left leg forward and step your right foot on the ground, either in front of your right hip or crossed outside of your left knee, in which you might also bend your left knee. Place the right hand behind your pelvis. Raise your left arm up. Press your sitting bones into the ground and lengthen your spine tall as you breathe in. Exhale, cross your waistline, twist to your right. Lower your left arm to hold your right leg, or hook your elbow outside of that thigh. About 5 breaths here, twisting. On an exhale, unwind your spine and let's set up in the same way if you can for side 2. Left foot in front of left hip, or cross the foot outside of your right knee. Maybe also bend the right knee. Place your left hand behind your pelvis, raise your right arm, root down, inhale, rise up. Exhale to your left, begin twisting. Lower the right arm to hold the left leg, or hook your elbow outside of that thigh. Exhale as you unwind, extend your legs forward for seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. You might opt to use a strap, placing it around the balls of your feet to help allow the shoulders to relax. If you can still relax them and reach for your big toes without rounding the back, start with your arms up. Press your pelvis down, breathe in, lengthen through your spine. Breathe out, little by little, hinge from the hips, keeping a slight lift at your chest. Draw your shoulders down your back. Press down to your pelvis. Breathe in to slowly rise. Please find a comfortable way to sit. We're going to practice a cooling pranayama, and then we'll practice a few last postures before Shavasana. So this is Sitale pranayama, which helps to cool the body down. We're going to be inhaling through the nose, actually through the lips. So you're going to make either a taco shape out of your tongue, folding the left and right edges up like this. Or if that's hard to do, make a straw shape out of your lips, like you're about to blow a kiss. And we'll inhale through the mouth, feeling the air, actually through the nose, excuse me. We'll inhale through the nose. And then we'll make that taco or straw shape and exhale slowly through the mouth. I'll invite you to breathe out slightly longer than you breathe in. So again, we'll inhale through the nose, maybe a count of 5, and then we'll exhale through the mouth about a count of 7, making the folded tongue or the straw-shaped lips. Let's try 3 rounds together and then 3 rounds on your own. So sit tall and relax, maybe close the eyes. Breathe in through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out through the mouth. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Going 3 more times. When you're done, let go of controlling the breath. Let's lower onto our backs for your choice of practicing supported shoulder stand with a block under your lower back and your legs straight up like this. Or traditional shoulder stand, if you have no neck issues, plant the elbows close to your ribs, lift your pelvis with the help of your hands, and tilt your chin back. Salamba Sarvangasana. Maybe moving into Halasana, legs overhead and plow. About 5 or more breaths. When you're ready, use your hands if you're in shoulder stand or plow to help lower your back and pelvis slowly. Otherwise, remove any blocks under the body, stretch the legs forward, and let's practice fish pose before Shavasana. Bring your feet together, relax the legs straight ahead, and slip your palms face down under your glutes so that your thumbs touch. Tilt your chin back to as far as you comfortably can. You might bring the top of the head to the floor. 5 lion's breaths, exhaling with the mouth wide. And then lower all the way down, draw the knees bent into your chest. Rock a little if you like, maybe come into happy baby pose. And then carefully lower your entire body to the floor in a comfortable lying down, resting position for a few minutes of corpse pose. Close the eyes, let go of controlling the breath, and let your presence surround you. Shavasana. Gently bring your awareness back to your physical body, sensing the way it feels right now. Take your time to begin moving the body slowly and easily, keeping the eyes closed as you're tuning inward. Gradually turn over onto your right side and rest your head, pausing a few moments to tune into the breath, countering your energy. Sense if anything has shifted about it through your practice. Slowly begin to lift your body up. Find a comfortable way to sit tall, relaxed, grounded. Beginning our 5 minutes sitting in silence meditation. Sense the deep, loving presence within you. You might rest your awareness gently on the breath as you let your awareness soften deeper and deeper inward. Sense that unconditionally loving energy within that can be with anything that arises. Sense your mind and heart. Notice how that feels now. You might keep your eyes closed if they are closed, and touch a hand gently at the heart center or join the hands to meet there. Pausing a moment to offer appreciation for anything that comes to mind. And then restate your intention for this practice. Remember to whom you dedicated this practice. And together, let's close chanting Om 3 times. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.